Reaching the age of 70 feels like entering a new and profound chapter of life. It's a time of reflection where the fast-paced rush of earlier decades gives way to a quieter, more intentional existence. This stage invites a shift in priorities, from chasing achievements and fulfilling obligations to cherishing simplicity and presence. The transition into later years brings with it a deeper understanding of what truly matters. In the past, life might have been defined by busy schedules, constant social engagements, and a never-ending to-do list. Now, those moments of stillness, watching the sunrise, enjoying a cup of coffee in the quiet of morning, or sitting with cherished memories, hold far greater value than the busyness that once dominated life. At 70, I've come to realize the importance of conserving energy, not just physically, but emotionally and mentally. There's a newfound clarity in identifying relationships and activities that nurture the soul, while letting go of those that drain it. Slowing down isn't about giving up. It's about making space for what brings joy, meaning, and peace. This chapter of life is an opportunity to redefine fulfillment. It's about savoring the small, beautiful moments that make up our days and nurturing the connections that truly matter. It's a time to embrace simplicity, honor personal boundaries, and focus on a way of being that feels authentic and fulfilling. As I share these reflections, I invite you to consider: how will you embrace this new chapter of life with intention and joy? 1. A slower rhythm feels right. Life in earlier years often feels like a race, a constant push to accomplish, attend, and achieve. Days blur together in a whirlwind of obligations and activities, with little time to truly savor the moments in between. But as I've stepped into my 70s, I've come to embrace a different pace, one that prioritizes stillness and simplicity over busyness. Each morning begins with a small ritual that brings immense peace. Sitting quietly with a warm cup of coffee, I watch the sunlight filter through the trees outside my window. The world feels calm and unhurried in these moments, as though time itself has paused to allow me to appreciate the beauty of now. It's a stark contrast to the mornings of my younger years, which were often rushed and chaotic. The transition to this slower rhythm wasn't immediate. It came with time and a conscious decision to let go of the need to constantly be on the go. Once I felt an obligation to attend every event, to visit friends and family as often as possible, and to fill my days with activity. Now, I've learned that it's okay to decline invitations or postpone visits if they disrupt the sense of peace I've cultivated in my life. This isn't about isolation. It's about finding balance. I still cherish connections with loved ones, but I no longer feel the pressure to be physically present at every gathering. Instead, I've found joy in the quiet moments spent at home, tending to a garden, reading a book, or simply listening to the wind rustling through the trees. Life's little joys often go unnoticed in the rush of a fast-paced life, but now they stand out as some of the most fulfilling experiences. The sound of birdsong in the morning, the way the light shifts throughout the day, or the comfort of a favorite chair. These small, seemingly ordinary things have become profound sources of contentment. This slower rhythm feels right for this stage of life. It's not about doing less. It's about experiencing more presence, more peace, and more gratitude for the moments that truly matter. 2. Energy is precious. One of the undeniable truths about aging is that energy, once abundant and taken for granted, becomes a finite resource. In my younger years, I could pack a day with errands, social visits, and late-night conversations, waking up the next morning, ready to do it all over again. But at 70, I've learned to respect my energy and prioritize it wisely. Each morning, I assess how I feel and let my body guide my plans for the day. Some days, I wake up with a spring in my step, ready to enjoy a walk or a meaningful phone call with a loved one. Other days, even the thought of leaving the house feels overwhelming, and I've learned to be okay with that. Honoring my limitations is not a sign of defeat, but an act of self-care and wisdom. Visiting others, while enjoyable, often demands more energy than I can comfortably give. It's not just the physical effort of traveling, it's the mental and emotional energy required to engage fully, to listen deeply, and to be present. I've come to realize that showing up out of obligation, only to feel drained or disconnected, serves no one. Instead, I save my energy for activities and relationships that truly bring joy and fulfillment. This shift has also meant being more selective about how and where I invest my time. Rather than scattering my attention across numerous commitments, I focus on the connections and pursuits that replenish me. A long, heartfelt conversation with a grandchild or an afternoon lost in the pages of a book brings far more peace and satisfaction than attending a crowded social event. Accepting these changes hasn't always been easy. There's a part of me that still longs for the boundless energy of youth, but I've learned to embrace this new reality with grace. By being intentional with how I spend my energy, I've discovered a deeper sense of contentment and balance. This stage of life is not about doing everything. It's about doing what truly matters. Protecting my energy allows me to show up fully and authentically for the people and moments that enrich my days, making them all the more meaningful. 3. Modern social expectations feel different. Socializing today feels like a far cry from the simplicity I remember. There was a time when visiting someone meant showing up unannounced with a plate of cookies or just a warm smile. You didn't need an invitation, and no one worried about tidying up their home or preparing an elaborate meal. The focus was on genuine connection, not appearances. Now, social visits often feel more like planned events than spontaneous gatherings. There's an unspoken expectation to have everything in perfect order. A clean house, a well-prepared meal, and even the right attire. These small pressures may seem trivial, but for me, they take away from the joy of the visit. Instead of relaxing and being present, I find myself worrying about meeting these modern standards. Conversations, too, have changed. In the past, there was a natural flow to discussions, with time to delve into meaningful topics. Today, interactions often feel rushed, as if everyone is trying to pack their stories into limited moments. This hurried pace leaves little room for the deep, heartfelt exchanges I cherish. Another challenge is the physical environment. Many modern homes aren't designed with older adults in mind. Stairs can feel daunting, chairs are often too low or uncomfortable, and noisy, bustling spaces can be overwhelming. These obstacles may seem small, but they add to the mental and physical effort of visiting, making it less enjoyable than it once was. In light of these changes, I've found new ways to stay connected that feel more aligned with my pace of life. A heartfelt phone call, a handwritten letter, or even a video chat allows me to maintain meaningful relationships without the stress of modern social norms. These simpler forms of connection feel more authentic and personal, letting me engage with the people I care about on my own terms. By letting go of the need to conform to today's expectations, I've reclaimed the joy of connection. It's not about how or where we meet, it's about the love and care we share. In focusing on the essence of relationships, I've rediscovered the richness of genuine connection, even in quieter, less traditional ways. 4. The comfort of my own space. Home has taken on a new meaning for me in this stage of life. It's not just a place to live, it's my sanctuary, a space that reflects who I am and offers a sense of grounding and peace. Every corner holds memories, and every object tells a story. My favorite chair by the window, where I sip my morning coffee and watch the sunlight dance through the trees, is more than just furniture. It's a place of solace and comfort that feels like an extension of myself. There's something deeply reassuring about being in a space that fits me perfectly. The gentle creak of the floorboards, the familiar smells of my kitchen, and the way the light fills the room in the afternoon, all these small details bring me a profound sense of belonging. Here, I don't need to adjust myself to fit into someone else's environment. My home fits me. Stepping out of this comfort zone, even to visit loved ones, often feels daunting now. Their homes, as warm and welcoming as they may be, are unfamiliar. Will the chairs be comfortable? Will there be stairs to navigate, or noise that makes it difficult to hear? These small but significant questions linger in my mind, often outweighing the joy of the visit itself. This doesn't mean I don't value relationships or connection. I care deeply for the people in my life, but I've come to realize that my well-being matters too. Prioritizing the comfort and peace of my own space allows me to show up for those relationships in ways that feel authentic and sustainable. Staying home isn't about retreating from the world. It's about honoring the sanctuary I've built and finding contentment in its familiar embrace. Here, I can simply be. And that, at this stage of life, feels like the greatest gift. 5. Physical challenges. Aging brings with it undeniable physical changes, and I've learned to navigate these with acceptance and grace. My body no longer moves with the ease it once did. Simple activities like climbing stairs, sitting for extended periods, or navigating unfamiliar spaces now require more thought and care. These changes shape my choices and remind me to prioritize safety and dignity in my daily life. Even a short outing can feel like a significant effort. Before leaving home, I consider factors I once overlooked. Will I have the energy to enjoy the visit? Are the seating arrangements comfortable? Is the space accessible and safe for me to move around? These questions aren't just minor inconveniences, they are essential to maintaining my well-being. As these physical limitations have become more apparent, I've learned to adjust my activities and expectations. Instead of attending every social event or traveling across town, I've embraced alternatives that align with my current capabilities. A heartfelt phone call, a letter, or even a quiet moment of reflection has become a meaningful way to connect without overexerting myself. This shift doesn't mean I've given up on participating in life. On the contrary, it's about finding ways to engage that feel sustainable and fulfilling. I've discovered joy in simpler activities, like tending to my garden, enjoying a peaceful walk, or sitting in the comfort of my own home while reminiscing with loved ones over the phone. By accepting these physical changes, I've cultivated a deeper sense of self-compassion. It's not always easy to acknowledge limitations, but I've realized they don't define me. Instead, they guide me toward a lifestyle that honors my body's needs while allowing me to live meaningfully. Staying connected, engaged, and present, on my terms, is how I continue to thrive. 6. Prioritizing relationships that matter. One of the most profound lessons I've learned with age is the value of prioritizing relationships that truly matter. When I was younger, I felt obligated to nurture every connection, no matter how draining or one-sided it might have been. Over time, I've realized that not all relationships are equal. Some uplift and energize, while others deplete and burden. At this stage of life, I've made peace with letting go of connections that no longer serve me. This doesn't come from a place of resentment, but rather a deep understanding that my time and energy are finite. Instead, I focus on nurturing relationships that bring joy, support, and mutual care. These are the bonds where love flows both ways, and each interaction feels meaningful and enriching. Quality now matters far more than quantity. I don't need a long list of acquaintances. I cherish a small circle of people who truly know and love me for who I am. These are the friends and family who have stood by me, celebrated my joys, and comforted me in moments of sorrow. By focusing on these meaningful connections, I've cultivated a sense of peace and fulfillment, knowing that my relationships are built on authenticity, mutual respect, and genuine care. 7. Technology offers new ways to connect. In today's fast-paced world, technology has become a surprising ally in maintaining meaningful connections, even as I've embraced a slower pace of life. Initially, I resisted the idea of relying on screens to stay in touch, feeling that nothing could replace the warmth of face-to-face interactions. However, I've come to see technology not as a replacement, but as a bridge, a way to stay connected with loved ones while honoring my own need for simplicity and rest. Video calls have become a lifeline, offering the chance to see my children and grandchildren's smiles, hear their stories, and share in their lives, even from afar. Text messages and social media updates may seem impersonal at first glance, but they carry a quiet joy, a quick reminder that I am thought of and included in their day-to-day moments. Despite embracing digital tools, I haven't abandoned traditional methods. Writing handwritten letters has become a cherished practice, allowing me to slow down, reflect, and share my thoughts in a deeply personal way. Receiving a letter in return is a treasured gift, a tangible reminder of the love that binds us. Balancing technology with tradition has allowed me to stay connected in ways that feel authentic and meaningful, bringing joy to both the sender and receiver. 8. Reflecting on loss. Loss becomes an inevitable part of life as the years go by, a quiet companion that reminds us of life's impermanence. It's not just the loss of loved ones, though those absences are felt most deeply. It's also the loss of routines, physical abilities, and parts of oneself once taken for granted. Each goodbye, whether to a person or a phase of life, leaves a mark, but it also brings profound lessons. I've found solace in honoring these losses through simple rituals. Lighting a candle for those who have passed keeps their memory alive in my heart. Paging through old photo albums allows me to revisit cherished moments, bittersweet as they may be. Speaking the names of those I've loved aloud reminds me that their presence lingers, even if unseen. These quiet acts of remembrance have also taught me to hold my current relationships closer. Every phone call, shared laugh, or heartfelt conversation feels more precious because I know how fleeting they can be. Loss has shaped the way I live and connect. It reminds me to cherish the present, to express love freely, and to find beauty in the relationships and moments that remain. In this way, loss has deepened my gratitude and capacity for connection. 9. Protecting my peace. Peace has become more than just fleeting moments of quiet. It's a state of being that nurtures my mind, body, and soul. As I've grown older, I've come to realize that protecting this peace requires intentional choices and well-defined boundaries. Visiting others or attending social events, while often joyful, can disrupt the sense of calm I've worked hard to cultivate. The preparation, travel, and energy needed to engage can sometimes feel overwhelming. Even the anticipation, wondering if I'll feel comfortable or if the day will go smoothly, can create a sense of unease. Instead of pushing through out of obligation, I've learned to listen to my inner voice and prioritize what truly brings me harmony. By saying no to invitations that feel draining and yes to activities that align with my sense of calm, I've discovered new ways to fill my days with joy and purpose. Painting, gardening, or simply reading in the comfort of my home have become sources of fulfillment. These pursuits allow me to slow down, reflect, and connect with myself on a deeper level. Protecting my peace isn't about withdrawing from the world, but about creating a life that feels authentic and balanced. It's about focusing on what nurtures my well-being, rather than what satisfies external expectations. In choosing to honor my need for tranquility, I've found a profound sense of contentment and a life that feels truly my own. 10. Finding joy in simpler connections. As I've embraced a slower pace of life, I've come to appreciate the beauty and fulfillment found in small, meaningful connections. A friendly wave from a neighbor, a warm smile shared with a cashier, or a heartfelt phone call with a loved one can carry more significance than grand gatherings or elaborate events. These simple interactions remind me that connection doesn't need to be extravagant to be genuine. Nature has also become a source of comfort and connection for me. Sitting in my garden, feeling the warmth of the sun, and listening to the birds sing provides a profound sense of peace. These quiet moments with the natural world help me feel grounded and remind me that I'm part of something much larger. Solitude, too, has taken on new meaning. Writing letters to my grandchildren, reflecting on cherished memories, or simply sitting with my thoughts brings a sense of closeness to the people I hold dear, even when they're far away. These acts may seem small, but they're filled with love and intention. I've let go of the need for grand social events and instead cherish authentic, simple connections. A deep conversation over the phone or a handwritten note feels far more meaningful than fleeting interactions at a crowded event. At this stage in life, it's not about how many people I see, but about the quality of the connections I nurture. These quieter, more personal moments are where I've found the deepest joy. Conclusion. Reaching this stage of life has brought me clarity about what truly matters. It's not about chasing after every opportunity, maintaining endless obligations, or filling my days with constant activity. Instead, it's about slowing down, conserving energy, and savoring the moments that bring genuine joy and connection. In choosing a simpler way of life, I've discovered the beauty of being present. Whether it's enjoying the warmth of my home, tending to a quiet garden, or having heartfelt conversations with those I hold dear, these moments ground me in what is truly meaningful. By letting go of unnecessary demands and focusing on what nurtures my spirit, I've found peace, purpose, and contentment. This journey isn't about withdrawal from the world, but about engaging with it in a way that feels authentic and fulfilling. It's about setting boundaries, prioritizing relationships that uplift, and embracing the connections that enrich life, whether through technology, nature, or cherished memories. To those navigating their own paths in later years, I encourage you to embrace what feels right for you. Simplify where you can, honor your energy, and cherish the small joys that make each day meaningful. Life is not a race, it's a journey best lived with intention and love. In slowing down and focusing on what matters most, I've discovered that joy often resides in simplicity. This way of being has given me not only a sense of peace, but also the freedom to live fully and authentically. And that, I've come to realize, is the essence of a life well lived.